One of my favorite decks from last year was a Jeskai control deck that finished the game by taking extra turns and casting massive fireballs at the opponent's face. Today we're revisiting that deck and seeing if we can salvage the pieces that were lost in rotation. Hi, it's McFly52, and there's a deck that I played over 70 games with last year and climbed into numbered mythic with, and that deck was a Zurgo, Ojutai, and Chandra control deck. This is the old list. Notably, some of the cards that rotated were March of Otherworldly Light, which was this super flexible removal spell. Light Up the Night, which was very important with Chandra. This is a spell that you could cast, deal damage to remove a creature early in the game, and then later in the game you could also flash it back. And it just worked really well with Chandra because this is the big fireball that I was talking about. Chandra, you can make a bunch of mana, and then you can pay a bunch into X, and Chandra's static ability is that it copies instant or sorcery spells once per turn. And then the flashback allowed you to remove loyalty from a planeswalker instead of paying X. So if you could get Chandra down, Light Up the Night was your best friend. Alchemist Gambit is the extra turn spell that I was talking about with Chandra. This is a 3 mana extra turn spell where you lose the game at the beginning of your next end step if you cast it. The alternative is you can cleave it and you just get a extra turn spell for 7 mana. So with Chandra, you pay 7 mana, you get 2 extra turns, you should be able to take over the game from there. But what was really special about Alchemist Gambit with Chandra is that you could play Chandra with 7 mana up, you could take it up to make 2 mana, cast Alchemist Gambit, you get 2 extra turns, but you lose the game at the beginning of the next end step, or like the end step of your first extra turn, and then during that next extra turn you just finish off the opponent with a massive fireball, so they don't have like a chance to respond or do anything. And so that was super fun to do with Chandra here. Celestis, this was an amazing mana rock for control decks, because if the opponent's not doing anything or you don't do anything, and then it just flips back and forth between day and night, and then you can gain a life, draw a card, and discard a card a bunch. And so that helps you filter through your library. And then obligatory, I guess, Farewell rotated. That card, thank goodness it's gone, but it was really powerful for control decks, for just hitting whatever you needed to go. And then obviously the fast lands. So here is my 2025 rendition of the deck. Some of the new cards that we're playing. I'll try and drag them off to the side here. Well, I guess all the 3 mana ones are new cards, but we're playing Fire's Victory. This is different because we had that very flexible 1 mana removal spell. Fire's Victory is trying to fill in that removal spot that we need in the deck just to deal with any sort of creature. Generally, we're playing a control deck, so we're going to hold up all of our cards, wait till the opponent does something, and then play something. And so we're going to have lots of cards in hand. So Fire's Victory works really well with dealing with big creatures or planeswalkers. And additionally, we can later in the game draw some cards with it. Return the Favor is the extra special 2025 edition fireball that you can do with Chandra. It's way more difficult to pull off, but the cool thing is Chandra has 3 different loyalty abilities, and then has the static of copying instant and sorcery spells. The one that we're going to use in this deck to try and finish off the opponent is actually the -X loyalty, where Chandra deals X damage to each of up to 2 targets. So you want to get Chandra's loyalty up a bit before you do this, but what you're going to want to do is take down Chandra to 1 loyalty. So say you just played Chandra, has 5 loyalty, you take it down to 1 loyalty, it's going to do 4 damage, you target the opponent's face. Then you cast Return the Favor to copy that activated ability, and then that Return the Favor is going to be copied by Chandra. So basically you triple up the -X damage from Chandra. So if you have like 4, you're taking it down 4 loyalty, it's going to do 12 damage in bursts of 4. But you can see if you have if you +2 Chandra the first turn you put it down, the following turn you can take it down 6 and deal 18 damage to the opponent with a Return the Favor. Also, it's just like a cheeky redirect spell for 3 mana or copy spell for 3 mana. So maybe we'll get something silly with that. And so that's kind of why we're playing that. I think the Deduce is a difference between the 2 lists. It's just extra card draw. Make your move. This is, again, we're trying to fill in those removal spots that was lost. And make your move is that flexible removal for artifacts that I ended up picking. It's instant speed, which is important, just because responding at instant speed is a little bit more helpful than playing exercise. At least that's my impression. Well, maybe more testing needs to be done, but we're playing Slagstorm. The old list was actually playing Temporary Lockdown. The reason we're playing Slagstorm over Temporary Lockdown is it's a bit more flexible, or it has a bit more range. Temporary Lockdown really good into the low to ground decks because it exiles all 2 mana value or less non-land permanents. That's really good against like mono red or something like that, but not very good into anything that is bigger than that. So Slagstorm can allow us to deal with bigger threats, and it's a spell that we can copy with Chandra. So if we have Chandra out, we can go ahead and play this. It'll copy up and deal a total of 6 damage to each creature. You can also burn the opponent. We're playing this over Brotherhood's End, which it could deal with artifacts, because Brotherhood's End also hits Planeswalkers. So that's one of the reasons why the original deck didn't play Brotherhood's End, because you don't really want to play Brotherhood's End and then kill your Chandra. That would be kind of bad. Bandit's Hall. This is our Celestis at home, I guess you could say. It's a 3 mana rock. Whenever you commit a crime, so this is like targeting your opponent's stuff, countering their spells, whatever it be, you get a loot counter on it, and then if you have 2 loot counters, you can pay 2, tap it, go ahead and draw a card. So this can draw a few cards in some games, but it's also just a little bit of ramp because, well, our curve is pretty big in this deck. We're playing Day of Judgment. This is actually a new sweeper. You'll notice we have a total of 7 sweepers. This deck just leans on sweepers in terms of creature removal, because going 1 for 1 is just a little bit too resource intensive, I think. And so being able to just sweep up all the creatures is very nice. So Day of Judgment, just another Wrath in the deck. I think Standard has sped up, so we can't get away with just playing a bunch of Sunfalls, is my impression, but maybe I'm wrong about that. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the majority of the new stuff in the deck. Besides that, it's just a lot of, we have 5 counterspells between Negate and No More Lies. Negate, really important for protecting your Chandra after you get it down, if you're playing into like another control opponent. Get Lost, Lightning Helix, more spot removal. Lightning Helix really nice in this kind of like Jeskai control, because it also can gain you some life against those aggressive decks and just remove the small creatures that they play. And yeah, this deck, it's very rewarding playing it. Well, it can be very rewarding playing it. Definitely not quite as good as the 2024 rendition, I don't think. Lost just maybe a few too many pieces, but it can be really fun to just play control, I guess. Yeah, it's very, if you like control, you'll probably like this. If you don't like control, maybe this isn't for you, but yeah. I will say you have to be very careful with your Chandra and your Zurgo and Ojutai, because if you play it out and it instantly gets removed, these are your card draw engines in the game, in the deck, and losing your card draw means that your opponent might top deck better than you, and you might just end up losing the game. So there are a few sideboard cards. These are cards I was considering for the deck. I'm just gonna quickly go through them. The big ones I would say are like 3 steps ahead. This is a very nice counter spell, because it's a hard counter and then it has some upside. I just felt like the 3 mana mode, this deck really doesn't make good use of it, and so swapping it out for Negate is, or like just playing Negate or some other counter spell just seems like a better idea. It is nice that you can also draw cards with it though, so it was something I considered and maybe it's worth playing. Maze Mind Tome, just really good in control decks. Perhaps this is a card that should be in the deck, but I just really wanted to keep it as many instant and sorceries so that we get the most amount of value out of Chandra +1. And then, yeah, obviously the temporary lockdown. White Sun's Twilight, you might see this one in here. It's an excellent finisher in like control, I feel like, because, well, Toxic is just very strong ability, and gaining a bunch of life is very helpful, but it just really doesn't work well with Chandra in the sense that you copy it up, you do gain more life, but you sweep the mites that your first White Sun's Twilight makes. So I just didn't really like that, and so this is what I've settled on. Let's go play some games on the ranked ladder and see how we can do. Sorry for the rambly introduction, but now we're into the games. Is this hand good enough? I mean, we have Lightning Strike on turn 2. We can give it a go. We played a very jank deck the other day, so dropped pretty far through Mythic, and I've been using this deck to climb back up, and it's been at least entertaining for me. I can't confidently say this deck is the best, but I do have a very impressive record with the deck, I would say, to some degree. But I find that between anything below like 90 something % Mythic, you have a lot of people that they've climbed to Mythic and now they're just playing whatever they want to play. Thundering Falls is very nice. I was thinking about lightning striking the opponent's face, but I don't think it's worth it. Opponent looks like to be on like a Desert's ramp deck, so they're probably playing Calamity, and the turtle would be my just impressions, but I could be very wrong. One desert at a time. They could also be playing the super jank like Tale of Tameo, mill all like almost all lands, and then play like Lumera deck. Yeah, there's no reason to bolt their face. Alright. This deck, very much a control deck, so. Okay, that was not what I was expecting, but we can lightning strike that. I don't really mind it hitting the battlefield. I don't actually have to crack the Fabled Passage, so perhaps we'll hold off on that. Opponent has done 4 damage with their lands. Impressive. No lands. I'm not going to crack the Fabled Passage because it doesn't really matter in terms of the land's always going to come in untapped, and then keeping lands in our deck means that we're more likely to draw a land, but I think we actually let that hit the battlefield. Does mean they ramp, but I think we prefer to counterspell something big. That only puts it to your hand. Opponent, the full desert. Might just get lost the Trailblazer. Please, can I draw a land? Or, you know what, I'll take a Farsight Ritual as well. Or the Mana Rock. That's neither. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to pull off, well, I think we will certainly be able to pull off the Return the Favor Chandra thing, but if I go for the map token, I just gonna kill it. Aha, you wasted one of your map tokens. We're playing 25 lands in the deck because we really want to hit our land drops. The original list I think had 26 of them, but I feel like I was drawing into too many lands, so I tweaked it down a bit. We are suffering a bit because we didn't draw into like a Deuce or the Farsight Ritual. Either of those would have fixed our land problem here. This is frankly insulting. Still have not drawn into another land. I mean, wait, does this find basics? Search your library for 2 basic land cards. Yeah. I will take a copy of that. That is something I would like to do. Thank you, opponent. I needed the lands. I think that's the first time I've done that. But return the favor, such a silly card. It's very unique in the sense that I think it's one of the only cards that can redirect or copy activated abilities. Activated abilities, I guess. But yeah, there are in the grand scheme of Magic, there's quite a few red, like 3-mana spells that copy instant or sorceries, or some spells that redirect things, but I'm gonna actually crack the Fabled Passage, because I think we have enough lands here. So I would like to hit another land drop here if I could. Attack in with Zurgo and Ojutai, or hold up Counterspell. Opponent probably a Doppelganger deck, so maybe I just wait a turn and see if we can draw into a land. They don't have blue though. Yeah, maybe they're not a Doppelganger deck. Can't get rid of that. Can't get rid of it with the Fires of Victory, unfortunately. It is a 10-11. The opponent's plan just to play Outcaster Green, Green Blade, and then reoccur it with Alesha. Okay. I guess we let that happen. If we can find a land drop, we can kill both of those with Chandra. Because then we can land drop, play Chandra, take it up to get 2 mana. We have 1 mana left over, and we can just remove both of them, but it's not looking good. Actually, we'll Fire's Victory to draw into a card. Maybe we can find a land drop or a removal spell. Not a ideal situation. Maybe I should have tried to counterspell one of those, but I mean, it wouldn't work. They have enough lands. Farsight Ritual. Damage-based removal. Not very good right about now. Which, that's what our Chandra and our Fire's Victory were. We could try and survive 1 turn here with Farsight Ritual. Yep, none of those are gonna do it. Alright, well, can't believe we got bested by the deserts. That is crazy. Oh boy. Alright, opponent goes first. This hand is better because we can hold up No More Lies turn 2 with double Zurgo and return the favor. These are all like late game cards that we have in our hand. This deck is not as bad as that last game made it look. I feel like we got really unlucky not hitting lands to just start accelerating our game plan. Slagstorm could work into if the opponent's playing mono red. We'll play down the untapped land so we can hold up the No More Lies. Counter target spell unless they pay 3. That is card draw, so I guess we'll counter it. It's not great. It means the opponent's on dragons. We do need to hit land drops. Mono red dragons, is it? Make a treasure. Opponent trying to ramp into red dragons. Didn't know Batman was a fan of dragons. Not gonna waste the get lost on the Charming Scoundrel. Dude, he's maybe I should have mulliganed that hand. I probably should have mulliganed this hand. Just didn't have enough action. Pair of the Peaks. Ooh, it's actually a pretty good one because we're gonna lose 3 life to target it. But I think I'm gonna target it regardless. I will do it at their end step. It doesn't make too much of a difference. We lose 3 life when we target it, but if that stays on the battlefield, we're going to be losing a lot more than just 3 life. Yeah, I really should have mulliganed. My apologies, I'm not playing very well. Okay, well, maybe it's not a dragon deck, it's just a mono red aggro deck. No free maps. Probably should have just let them do that and killed the Hired Claw, but this is kind of sad, but we're gonna get rid of the Hired Claw. We drew into both of our Return the Favors and 2 of our 3 Zurgos. That's... Ooh, the opponent's gonna ramp us. I mean, a little dangerous, but wonder what dragons the opponent is playing. Because they have Terror of the Peaks. I wonder if they have the... Okay. 6 land drop means we have Chandra online. I think with Return the Favor, it changed the target of a spell or ability. Doesn't really work here. The Orb of Dragonkind is problematic because it does give all of their dragons haste. But I don't think we can change the target of the Plunder's ability to be like an illegal target. I think it has to stay illegal target, so can't return the favor of the damage back at their face. Okay. How do we handle this? Chandra is one of our best ways of finishing the game, so maybe we go Zurgo and Ojutai and try and top deck removal out of the top 3 cards. Alternative is we tick down Chandra, kill the Plunderer, and the 2-3 damage. I'm gonna do the Chandra. I'm just afraid of whiffing on Zurgo. And if we whiff, we take like 5 damage from the Plunderer. Plunderer is also ramping them, so it's not the worst thing to just make sure we remove. This orb, though. Why is this orb problematic? It's problematic because if they spend the mana on a dragon spell, it gains haste, so they could just be sending in hasty 5/5s. There you go, hasty 5/5. Oh, they're playing all of the dragons that they have. Take 4 damage if they don't cast those. They should have held that in exile because each card that they don't cast from exile deals 2 damage. Oh no, this is really just... not been the best of games. Day of Judgment is not gonna do it. Oh. M. Okay. Let's go. I want to blame myself for that last game there. I really should have mulliganed, I think. Just having way too many cards that weren't useful in my hand. This hand seems alright. We can't cast the Slagstorm, but we have double blue for Farsight Ritual. We have turn 2, no more lies. Opponent goes first, though. That is always a dangerous proposition. We'll start on the Surveil land, I think. That sets us up to potentially Slagstorm turn 3 if we can find a red source. Haste is difficult to deal with in control decks, I guess, is a good way of putting it. Alright, Lightning Helix, please. Not a Lightning Helix, and way too many lands at this point. Mono red. What is our opponent cooked up in mono red? Okay, it's pretty standard. That's not good. We can Slagstorm turn or next turn, which is pretty good. We just need the creatures to not get too big. Opponent might not cast anything. In that case, we might not be able to Slagstorm. Like, actually kill the creatures through Slagstorm. We don't really care. That is a creature that will die to the Slagstorm. Alright, well, we're gonna go for it. Hopefully they don't have to. Looks like the opponent's staring at multiple creatures, so there's probably the double strike one in there somewhere. Okay. Next turn we can start pulling ahead in card advantage. We just need to not die too soon here, but the game's not over until your health bars hit 0. Or your library is empty. Or you have 10 poison counters. Or there's an alt win con, but ignoring all those things, yeah. That is probably worthy of a counter. Playing against mono red on the play here is a bit rough. All right. Well, we're gonna just pretend like we have counter magic, so the opponent might not do anything. I mean, we do have counter magic, but we really want a Farsight Ritual to find an answer here, or just set up a Chandra. We need one more land drop to hit Chandra. Helix is nice. I mean, land drop and I guess we gotta pick Helix if we don't find better answer here. Alright, we can Lightning Helix and get lost, which is nice. Yeah, more land drops don't sound too bad. We're gonna do this on our turn. Just so that if they have like a pump, it's not super useful. Actually, I don't know. I just feel like it's a good idea to get rid of them when they have no cards. I could kill it in response with like a shock to prevent us from gaining life. And they would be targeting it with a spell, so they would get a counter to do 2 damage. Impressive. I'm actually going to say no to that because I want to gain the life. Otherwise, I think I might be screwed. Please nothing to target the challenger with. Please, please, please. And the monstrous rage off the top. That is so unfortunate. Okay, yeah, we only have... Oh, we gotta go with Chandra. Getting Chandra down allows us to potentially take over the game next turn. Okay. They're good signs. Okay. Power's victory is instant speed removal. Zurgo, I guess. That's not really what I was hoping for. A Helix is what I really want to see. Negate and stop something else. A land, I guess, helps. And then play down the untapped land here. And I think we just gotta pass. If the opponent has a burn spell, we can counter it with the negate. That is fine. We can get rid of it with the Fire's Victory here and draw the card. It's gonna get copied, but that doesn't really do anything. It'll only be one target. Alright. I think we tick up Chandra. Did we find any useful spells? Lightning Helix is very, very nice. I think we'll go ahead and cast the Helix on our turn here, and then next turn we can copy up a removal spell. How much mana is that? That doesn't leave us with much. Alright, we'll just double Helix on our turn. Gain 6 life. Reduce the opponent's life total down to 11. So we're staging our comeback. Top deck. And it's a rock face village. We're gonna +1 Chandra. All lands. That is an impressive feat, to be honest. I don't think we needed no more lives at this point. What do we do? This leaves up removal and a counter spell. Okay, the opponent gives up. I think we have the game pretty secured from there. Okay, this hand, it's compelling, but it's also a kind of a dangerous keep. 4 lands feels like a lot. We have the negate, though. We have all of our colors. And we have a Day of Judgment. I mean, we have, like, interaction on every step of the curve, almost, so maybe it's worth. Negate is not going to work against if they're playing a Up the Beanstalk Overlord deck. It looks like the opponent might be playing like Dinosaurs. Screaming Nemesis off the top in a dinosaur deck. Okay, well, I don't make the rules. Yep, you're gonna hit me with the Screaming Nemesis. I mean, counterspells don't really work into them. Do we want to take a turn to kind of go for cards? Or do we want to just sweep the board? I think my gut is telling me I should sweep the board, but like the play that has the most upside, I feel like Farsight Ritual, and we can hold up counterspells if they're playing anything else that's like relevant, but go down to 11. We made a comeback from 1 last game, so I think we'll be okay, but we have one more land drop, so I'm not gonna bother. Grab the helixes. They're not gonna be particularly good into dinos, but you know. And I'll go ahead and Day in Judgment. Get rid of the ramp creatures, so they're stuck on 3 mana here. And then the Screaming Nemesis will stop hitting us. We don't really want them to gain the mana from that, so I will actually Lightning Strike that. We have to go through its 2 ward cost, but come on. Green creatures with protection. What's that? We could never do that in Magic. Another one. Okay. I will, I guess, gain my life. Opponent is going to be approaching like a Tali mana eventually. We have Sunfall, so we can clear the board here. We have Slagstorm, but we would need our Chandra down for that to be relevant. Yeah, I think we're just going to get rid of those. Doesn't make me happy, but when you don't top deck lands, you can't really do your thing. Which, if your thing is the 6 mana thing, you kind of need to do it. Opponent is going to be setting it up so they can replay it. In that case, I think we do need to get rid of the Intrepid Paleontologist, so no more free dinos from the grave. Oh my goodness. Alright, we'll discard a No More Lies, because we can't counter their creatures. They have the Cavern. Where is our land drops? As a Vaultborn, we could get a land drop with our Farsight Ritual, but if we leave this Vaultborn on the battlefield, they could get some value from it. Power 4 or greater enters, you gain a life, or gain 3 life and draw a card. I'm so sorry, opponent. I wish I was top decking lands and I could show you the cool things that I want to do, but well, I regret using that Sunfall, but to be honest, I don't know if I had much of a better option. If we had 7 lands, we could Chandra and double up Slagstorm and it would kill everything, but can't do that. We can block the Atali with one of our... Yeah, let's do that. We're gonna wait until the opponent goes to attack, and then we will kill Gishath with the Make Your Move, and then block with a 2/2. Hallspawn. That's not good. Well, we used both of our Sunfalls, so it's not looking good. We'll resolve this, see what they get. Get a land, thank you, opponent. I get a Hammer Skull. Now we need to find some action here. I don't really want to take 6. Dang, old Atali here is nowhere close to as powerful as the previous one. The Day of Judgment off the top. I mean, they get another Vaultborn is the only problem. But I mean, I kind of think we have to. That's a wish we had Sunfall moment. Good old Vaultborn. Maybe I should play Dinos next. You do have now like 2 1-mana dorks. Because you have the Lore Keeper and then you have Llanowar Elves. The 7/7 and 6/6s just keep coming. What am I gonna do? It's actually impressive that the opponent keeps drawing into cards. I guess they hit 2 Vaultborns and like multiple a Gishaft and an Atali. Okay. We have 7 mana. It's not enough to Farsight Ritual or anything. Okay, well, we had a good run this game of answers, but again, the order that you draw cards matters a little bit. Was this on the play or on the draw? Ooh, Blightsteel. Very nice. GG. Alright, we've been on the draw the past 3 games, so now we're on the play. Hand seems alright. I mean, we have our land drops. We have removal, like lots of it. Just that, draw the cards in the right order. Alright, no lands. That is not a land. We will keep. Opponent on mono red. We'll hold up to get lost. If the opponent goes for a bunch of pump spells, we can just get lost it. If they don't, I think we just take the damage. I'm not gonna get. I'm just gonna get rid of it now. Don't really want it to go up to like 4 power and then have. This deals it +2 and then it gets a Valiant Trigger and it's 1. That totals up to 4. Okay, we can hold up, make your move. Sure. The opponent pumps up a creature really big. We can remove it with this. Opponent ran out of creatures? Are they playing a very like pump spell dependent deck? Or do they have too many 3-drops? Okay. These maps are gonna be... might be the death of us. We can kill this with Slagstorm. I wonder if playing at a different time of the day has ended up making for a worse opponent, or like more challenging opponents here. This is a little risky, but we'll just blow up the mouse. If they have another, or like a monstrous rage, they could have saved it, but we'll crack the passage on our turn. And hopefully we'll be able to just start going in with Zurgo and Ojutai. The opponent has so many cards though. Negate is pretty nice. I don't think we can do anything, actually. I think the opponent equips the Bane Splitter. Well, if they go to equip it, we can kill the Nemesis with the make your own move. Need some power 4 or greater, so... Oh, they whiff. That's actually good for them. Now they're hitting their land drops, and their Nemesis is okay. Yeah, we're not going to counter that. Opponent is going to give this Nemesis the juice. Use all of your pump spells, opponent. Goodbye. Was that a little mean? The right thing to do. Let them use them all, but felt a little harsh. Probably should have left a blue land untapped if I could have. Deduce seems pretty good. Alright, so this is a game where... Oh, Return the Favor actually could be intriguing. Deduce allows us to get more cards. This is a game where, like, it seems that it would be okay to leave Zurgo and Ojutai out here, but at the same time, if the opponent kills it, we really don't have any serious card draw. I don't think we can afford to play it out. Don't think we need another land at this particular... Like, I'd prefer to see what else we could top deck. Maybe saying that we don't need land is incorrect, but... You can always use more land in a control deck. More lands means more card draw and more things you can hold up. Induce, very nice. Crack that. Alright, we got... Our hand is stacked with answers here. Can we afford to go in with Zurgo and Ojutai? Perhaps. Maybe it's better to Chandra here. Oh, I can't count. That is not good.
No more watching. It's time to do something.
Oh, if I die here, I thought I had 2 lands open.
There's never a bad time to
And if I had 2 lands open, I could hold up like a Get Loss or a Negate. Okay, well, opponent doesn't seem to have an answer for Chandra, so there is light at the end of the tunnel. That's fine, but maybe just tick Chandra up, run out Zurgo and Ojutai to do a bit of damage, and then we have a lot of loyalty for our Planeswalker here. If we can find a Lightning Strike, we would be very happy. The only, like, one of the annoying things that's also changed about this deck is that Zurgo and Ojutai being hexproof used to be like, okay, we're pretty good. Now, Zurgo and Ojutai being hexproof means, I guess the opponent needs to not have nowhere to run, which is unfortunate. Change. Okay, well, next turn we were going to win with the Return the Favor and triple up our Chandra's damage. Okay. We do get to go first, but 2 tap lands is not great. We do have, like, things to do on turn, or with our 2 lands, but still, I don't know if we can afford to keep this. Alright, we have 1 untapped land. We have a sweeper on 3. Hey, it's not great, but it's something. I could keep the Return the Favor if I wanted to. Yeah, we'll keep the return the favor for the spice. Maybe we get to copy something. I don't really want to put Chandra into the graveyard. We'll give it a turn. We'll draw it. Could play the archive down next turn. It still drew into 2 tap lands. Like a turn 1 tap land, turn 2 tap land, which is not great. Opponent might be on Gruul Delirium based on the fact they're playing the Ridgeline. Another land means that we can hit our Farsight Ritual here. Gruul Delirium is a little bit rough because they do have the Hasters. They discarded one of them. I don't think we've Slagstorm yet. Another land drop. I mean, I guess we're getting closer to Chandra and we just need to hope that our opponent doesn't kill us. Hopefully the opponent runs out another creature here. Ooh, that doesn't turn on Delirium yet, but they could turn it on now. Yep. Okay. This only is once a turn, so I'm gonna take 8. Oh yeah. And they have a bunch of manlands. Yeah, I don't. This deck just got so much worse. The removal, like the Jeskai removal, is just more narrow. More narrow than it used to be. All patch recruit is rough because we can't really like target it well. I think we just hold up Negate to try and stop ourselves from dying, and alternatively we Farsight Ritual. One has a lot of reach in their deck. So if we can find like a Sunfall or something. We also don't have Graveyard Hate anymore because we don't have Farewell. I miss the good old times where we had it all. Alright, let's go deep. Slagstorm does deal with some stuff here. Another land drop sets up a Chandra eventually. Probably should take in the, what's it called? Fires of Victory so we can kill a Ridgeline. Alright. Fabled Passage. Bracket, grab a land to thin the deck. We're gonna need to turn this corner pretty quick, or find like a lightning strike or two. These manlands are gonna be problematic. I guess I could copy up the sweeper with the return the favor if I really wanted to, but a Ridgeline swings in for 3. I think it's like a 3/4 and taps another creature. Yeah. Need to find removal. That is not gonna do it. Okay, so we can block with the Restless Anchorage for a turn. And hope the opponent doesn't have a Lightning Strike. That's not gonna get us out of this. I could play Chandra, but if I play Chandra, I don't have any blockers. Though they would be forced to swing at Chandra and then maybe Lightning Strike Chandra. I mean, if they have a Lightning Strike, I think we just lose in general. I guess I should have played out Chandra and see if we could get it to live a turn. Manland on manland action. Except for theirs is bigger. No More Lies is not it. Okay. Well. Go Chandra, go. Hopefully I don't die.
Time to light up the darkness.
Sunfall not very good, but we exiled all Zurgo and Ojutai and then some other lands, which is good that we're not drawing into them. No, I just want to do the thing, opponent. Oh my. Yesterday, just yesterday, I went 10-3 with this deck, but now now we're struggling for any sort of win. We have Slagstorm turn 3. If we think our opponent's playing non-creatures, we have Negate. We have Dave Judgment, potentially turn 4. Doesn't really help us. I mean, it's a 4th land, but maybe I should have kept it. If we don't draw into any lands, I will wish that I kept it, but we can just, yeah, there you go. Land. Found it. Opponent is on mono black, which I think I have a pretty good record with with this deck. Yeah. I'm 4-3 into mono black. So opponent might be mono black skeletons, which is a bit different in terms of black decks. Oh no, it's Dimir Toxic. I hate it here. I hate it here. No. I don't know what it is, but I don't want it. Oh, well, I know what it is, but alright, we get rid of the Bilious Skull Dweller so they don't get a free toxic point every single turn. Now every single little thing they're gonna do, from drawing cards to making me sacrifice my Planeswalker, is gonna make me one step closer to death, which is so unfun. I'm tempted to just concede, save the mental. I don't think there's a way we finish this game fast enough, but I don't know. Right, there's Chandra, which they can just make a sacrifice if they have the right card. No more lies. I could counter a card draw spell eventually, or protect Chandra eventually. We need to get up to like 7 or like 8 mana to protect Chandra is the only problem. Play it and protect it. Because if I run out Chandra here, I take it up, and in response to activating a loyalty ability, they just cast the edict that gives me a poison counter. I think we just hold up counter spells for the time being. Counter their card draw so they don't get to just go off. Top deck into one more land, and we can go Chandra into protection. It's not a land. Okay, that's fine. So what the opponent will do, I'm willing to bet this. They're going to bounce it and proliferate it in response to this. Serum Snare, proliferate, no, Whisper of the Dross. Okay, well, wasn't what I was saying, but yeah, that does deal poison. Zurgo and Ojutai, they can just edict it. They don't have the edict. Okay, we can find a land drop. I guess I'll take the Lightning Helix and I can bolt them in the face. Probably should just go the card draw. Let's remove the Zurgo and Ojutai so they don't have anything to target. Get rid of the Sunfall. Just an expensive sweeper, and the opponent doesn't play creatures. They play 4 Bilious Skull Dwellers, and that is their deck. Play this, they can hard counter it, but if they do that, that's fine with us. I think we just go land drops because we need to be able to resolve our things. I don't really care about Zurgo and Ojutai right now. Chandra is our big damage source. Discard a card. No. Make your move. Opponent showed they were playing Tale of Tamia. Do we want to hold on to that for that? I guess so. The only problem is we can't kill like a Skull Dweller if it comes down. We can't kill it in a straightforward manner. Alright, so we have 2 mana to hold up protection. There are land on top. If there's land on top, I will wait one more turn. And there's Chandra. Well, that means we just go for it. Chandra, onto the battlefield. Go. Go, Chandra, go.
I will burn Phyrexia to ash.
I'm going to take Chandra up to get our loyalty counters up.
Here, have it.
And then pass. We can counter a singular spell on their turn, but it will be double countered. Beat this. 2 counter spells. Does it get copied? Bring the ending.
Give it our all.
Do that again. No way. Okay, well, we're gonna do the thing. Finally. 6 damage to the opponent's face. The game ever so kindly pauses so we can return the favor. The return the favor gets copied by Chandra's passive ability, and then the return the favor copies Chandra's passive, or Chandra's -6,
You're toast.
and we do it 3 times. We did it! Let's go! Alright, that is going to do it for this video. We got to do the massive Chandra fireball thing, which I'm pretty happy with. We got some other wins in there where kind of just whittled down the opponent. That is probably the easiest way to win with this deck, is just making your opponent stop wanting to play. Yeah. Anyways, I don't think this deck is quite as good as the old version. Well, I think it's way worse than the old version, but still, there's still something about it that is mildly entertaining. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, maybe you'll enjoy the video that we did the other day where we played a standard event with Rakdos Sacrifice to see how it would do. Anyways, have a nice morning, evening, night, afternoon, or wherever and whenever you're watching. Take care of yourself. Ciao.